The Texans take down the Chargers 32-12 in a game both you and I picked the Chargers. I feel like 80%, maybe 90% of people pick the Chargers in this game. And as will be a
Uh,
running theme in most of these games, one team blows out the other. This time the Chargers blow them out or the Texans blow them out by 20.
So I just looked up that uh, throwing up on a hibachi grill, and somebody goes, it's called a vomomlet. A
Oh,
vomelet.
that's nice. Yeah,
That's gross.
and they make it, into a volcano. It's
Yeah.
nice.
All right.
Uh,
Anyway, so moving on. Texans take down the Chargers. Oh man. Do you think this is just because your boy, my boy, Justin Herbert is a sham, or do you think the Texans just figured it out?
I don't know. I think so Herbert in this game had, and it's so funny, like we'll get to this on the Eagles game, but or when we talk about the Eagles game, but it's so funny how Justin Herbert has one touchdown, four interceptions, looks like absolute dog shit the entire game. And the narrative now on, we're recording this on Tuesday. So all the sports shows on Monday when they were talking about it, they were like, listen, if you're selling your Justin Herbert stock, I'll take all of it. He's a great quarterback, all this kind of stuff. On the flip side, Jalen Hurts has 2 touchdowns over like 120 passer rating, and the discussion is like, I don't know if he can win playoff games. I don't know if he's good or not. So that's an interesting point to make, because the my point being for all this, it doesn't matter what Justin Herbert does in the postseason, because during the regular season, he is like such a football nerd's wet dream when you watch him play quarterback, that he could have thrown 10 interceptions and 0 touchdowns in this game, and there would still be people defending him as if he's just like, I mean, you get him a wide receiver and a tight end, and that takes away 8 of those interceptions. 2 of the interceptions were like fluke ones. One, it just like the ball went right a little bit too high over one of his guys and just landed perfectly to a defender
Yeah.
standing like 5 yards behind him. The
So with
other
that,
one,
okay, go for it.
no, I'm just saying the 2 of them were his fault. 2 of them were miscues. But besides that, I mean,
And that could have turned the tides, though. That honestly could turn the
yeah.
tides. Because regardless how Justin Herbert played and whatnot, Lad McConkey, dude, what a game! 9 receptions, 197 yards. He was outstanding in that game. But they kind of had to launch the ball quite far, just to try to keep up with the Texans. But I talked about it before this game on last episode. It was going to come down to which running backs were better, which rushing team, or which team had the better rushing. So J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards collectively only ran the ball for 16 times and only had 48 yards. So not too great there. And then you move over onto the Texans. Joe Mixon crushed it with 25 carries, 106 yards, and a touchdown. But then also C.J. Stroud ran it for 42 yards. Pierce ran it for 15 yards and whatnot. So everybody averaged for 5 yards or more per rush. So that was, in my opinion, the difference in the game is they were able to control the ball. They were able to hold on to the ball. Yes, Justin Herbert didn't look great, but he had to throw the ball 32 times because that running game just wasn't doing anything. So
Yeah.
do you pin that on just the scheme for the Chargers just wasn't working out, or do you think that the Texans defense just played outstanding? Because it's very surprising with Harbaugh there that everybody had him. They were favored. Chargers were favored.
I
That
know. Yeah.
um, so it begs the question: was it just the Texans played better, or was it just a complete breakdown on the Chargers?
Well, I do think the Texans played kind of what they should be playing, which is again a game where they let Joe Mixon carry the ball 25 times, 106 yards. CJ Stroud, he still threw it 33 times, but I felt like when you were watching the games, they were very, I don't want to say safe throws, but they were very conservative throws. I don't feel like he was doing the stuff you saw all season where he's trying to play hero ball every, time he touches the football. That being said, he still had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I didn't think Stroud was phenomenal in this game. I just thought that Herbert was so bad that it made CJ Stroud look like he did last year. But again, you look at this game, it's a 20-point score at the end of it. You look at the box score and you see Justin Herbert with 4 interceptions, and they, tried to run the ball with Dobbins and Edwards. Both of them didn't even crack 30 yards. So that's the tale of the game.
Remember,
right
I did
there.
talk about it that they were both beat up going into this game.
Yeah.
So that was a big, I think that was the deciding factor in this game, was just the rushing game and being able to control the ball.
Well, and then you look at, you look at the matchup, obviously we'll talk about on Thursday, about the Texans and Chiefs.
Yeah, Texans had the ball for about almost 10 more minutes than the Chargers. So that's a lot of time.
Yeah, but you look at the Texans and Chiefs matchup. I mean, I know the Chiefs are 15-2 and the Texans are 10-7. In almost every statistical category, they're almost the identical same teams. Like, I mean, Stroud didn't have that great of a season. We obviously have talked about Mahomes not having that great of a season all year. You take out the obvious thing of like the Chiefs are, going for a 3-peat and all that kind of stuff. You just look at this season in a bubble. I mean, the Chiefs have the 9th overall defense. Texans have the 6th overall defense. Chiefs are 16th in the league in total offense. Texans are 22nd in the league in total offense. And where the Texans are 21st in passing, Chiefs are 22nd in rushing. And then in passing, Chiefs are 14th, Texans are 15th. So it's like one's a better running team, one's a better passing team, but they're all kind of just in the middle. So you look at the games that the you look at the games the Chargers and Chiefs had, just based on that alone, I think you can really make the argument like, hey, the Chargers played the Chiefs pretty tight in both their matchups over this season. And then all of a sudden in the playoffs, the Texans blow them out. I think you can make a real case like maybe the Texans aren't done upsetting teams in the AFC West. That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying.
But let's anything else to say on that game, Casino?
Nope, we can move on.
But man, what a first off, what a dud to start the weekend, and then it was a sign of things to come.